To determine how long you need your pallu, gather it all together and then wrap it around under your left arm and then bring it to your right shoulder and then determine how long you'd like the sleeve to be. I like the sleeve to be kind of like near my elbow, so I think this is a good length. You need to start pleating the pallu at your right hip. So for me, that's this length of pallu. So this is the length I need to pleat. What I'm gonna do is determine that like this last foot of fabric is gonna be the sleeve. I don't need to pleat this. I'm gonna only pleat this much of it. For how to pleat the pallu, you can refer to my video on pallu pleating. So I've pleated my pallu and pinned it. And today, before we get started on draping, I just want to talk about the sari you use for this particular drape. I'm using a cotton sari and it's not too starched, it's a malleable cotton sari. And this is the perfect sari for this drape. One, because the sleeve that you create, you'll see later, is going to be dramatic and it's going to hold its place. If you use a sari like a satin silk, it'll kind of just fall and it will give you a different look. And if that's what you're going for, cool, but it's not going to give you the same puffy sleeve that I'm going to achieve with the cotton sari. And perhaps most important is that you don't want to iron down any of the pleats, because as I drape, you're gonna see that you're not really gonna know where to fan it, and it's really hard to plan ahead of time where you have to fan the pleats and where they're gonna stay in one row. So for that reason, I highly recommend for this drape using a sari that doesn't really need to be ironed and is gonna give you that puffy, dramatic sleeve. So let's get started. So you start the drape like you would the nivy drape. And then once you get to the front, what you do is get to the other end of the sari where you've pleated the pallu, wrap it around once. So you want to take the pallu, put it over your left shoulder, and make sure that the last safety pin where you measured your right hip, it's around there. So what I'm going to do is get the other end of the sari closest to me and pleat this like I would for a nivy drape. Stagger the pleats like you would for a nivy drape, pin them together and tuck it in. As you can see, my pleats here are not being very obedient, so if you want, you can just kind of guide them with your hands, or you can even, after you're done drape, kind of press them down with a hair straightener so that they really stay in place. I like the puffy look, so I'm just going to leave them as is. And then tuck it in, any extra fabric here, fold forward and tuck it in as well. So you want to bring the pleats around you, under your left arm, wrap it around and pin it right here. Once you've pinned the pallu, what you're going to do is take the rest of your pallu and kind of just position it around your arm. And you can pin along the edges of here. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to gather these and take a hair tie, just your regular hair tie, put it on my arm with the pallu, pieces of the pallu in it. So it kind of creates a sleeve. And now that looks really awkward. So what you're gonna do is kind of bring it to your elbow. And if you have tassels, you can definitely tuck those in. Every time you do this, it's gonna look different. And that's the wonderful thing about this drape.